picking up in the conversation that Jesus is having with his disciples, he's going through a step by step instructions, if you will, to the 11 disciples. Remember, Judas Iscariot had left to go betray him. So he's doing a step by step explanation so that what he's saying is actually prompting questions and reactions from his disciples. And these are teachable moments for them. And by extension, because we are reading this, they are teachable moments for us. So the first thing Jesus says is that he tells them not to let their hearts be troubled because he is going away and he's going to prepare a place for them and that he will come back to get them. So remember, that's us also. He's telling us not to be troubled, even though we're going to have problems. Tells us to remain calm, to trust him because he's preparing a place for us. Think about that for a second. Jesus is preparing a place for you to spend with him for all of eternity. He's telling them, don't worry about it. I got this. I'll take care of you. Just trust me. Then Thomas says that, well, we don't know how to get there. And Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, that nobody comes to the Father except through me. So Jesus points Thomas to the way. He says, you already know the way. I'm the way. You have to trust me, and then you will get to the Father. And then Philip, one of his other disciples, comes out and he has a demand. He's going to see here, and we're going to read this in verses 9 through 14. I'm sorry, 8 through 14. Philip says, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us. Now, Jesus' response in here might have a little bit of almost anxiety, but it's kind of like when you've been given directions by somebody and you say to them, well, I don't understand, what are you talking about here? And the person says, well, I already told you this. All right, so this is how I want to read this right here. Philip says, Lord, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us. Jesus answered, don't you know me, Philip, even after I have been among you for such a long time? Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Don't you believe that I am in the Father and that the Father is in me? The words I say to you, I do not speak on my own authority. Rather, it is the Father living in me who is doing his work. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Or at least believe in the evidence of the works themselves. Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father. And I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask for me of anything in my name, and I will do it. So what Jesus is telling Philip here, he's saying, listen, I've been with you for so long, you should know who I am. We also should know who he is because we've been reading it. We've been seeing the miracles. And this is what Jesus said. He goes, even if you don't believe me right now, at least believe the miracles that I'm doing that prove that I am from God and that prove that God is in me, because I only do what the Father tells me to do, and I only say what the Father tells me to say. Why? Because the Father is in me and I am in him. Jesus is telling us that we can have that same relationship with the Father that he has. We trust him. We become his disciples. He shows us the way, the truth, and the life, and we get to have that same relationship. Then he goes on to say that if you do believe in me, you're going to do greater things than I've done. Now, what he's not talking about we're going to be healing people from their sicknesses and their crippledness, and we're not going to be raising them from the dead. But what Jesus is telling us is that if we believe in him and we show people that we believe in him, then other people are going to be believing in him, and people are going to follow us because we're following him. Those are the greater things that he's talking about, because the whole plan of God is for the redemption of humanity. That's his plan. And each one of us is part of that plan. And he wants us to trust him for that. He's telling us that there's a relationship that we can have with him and with the Father. The next lesson that we're going to have, Jesus is going to tell us about the help that we can have so that we can have that same relationship.